My grandmother gave me a penthouse for my birthday, but my mom tried to take it away from me to please her new husband. Hi everyone, 3 days ago, I turned 15. And my grandmother gave me a very special and wonderful gift. She transferred the ownership of her penthouse to me. Grandma doesn't live there herself. She has a house in the suburbs, but she's owned this apartment for a couple of years and sometimes stays there when she comes to the city. I was absolutely thrilled because the last year has been just awful for me. First, my dad left the family. He was always a terrible workaholic and never found time for me or my mom, but my parents' breakup was still a huge shock for me. Mom didn't even tell me about it until Dad had quietly moved out almost a year ago. It turned out they had already filed for divorce by that point. They decided they couldn't live together anymore because Dad was too overwhelmed by everything. I was never told what exactly he was so overwhelmed by. He didn't even say goodbye to me in person. After he moved out, he sent me one last message, "He good." That was it. I haven't seen him since. Soon, my parents officially separated. Mom got the house and full custody of me and my brothers. Dad got visitation rights, but he never used them. So I don't know what's going on with him now. And as if all that wasn't enough, about 2 months ago, Mom told me she had been dating some guy for almost 3 months. Let's call him Robert. They were in love, and she didn't want to waste time after all. She's not getting any younger, so they got engaged. I didn't even have time to properly process that my mom had a new boyfriend. In the same breath, she said they were engaged, and that this man would become my stepfather. It was too much. I was very upset because, in my opinion, 5 months is not enough time to really know someone you're going to marry, but she told me not to worry. A couple of weeks later, she introduced me to him, and he seemed very closed off and cold to me. However, he acted completely differently with my brother. He was very playful. At first, I thought it was just because my brother is only 4 years old and it's easier to fool around with him, but a few weeks later, Mom told me something that completely changed my perception of both of them. 2 weeks ago, Mom told me to sit down and explain that the reason she and her fiancé got engaged so quickly was that he had been offered a very good job and was going to take it. But to do that, they would have to move to another state. They were planning to leave me here with my grandmother because Mom thought I wouldn't want to leave my life behind and go with them. However, I told her I wouldn't mind moving if it meant I could stay close to my mom, since my dad had already abandoned me. But Mom tried to convince me it was a bad idea because my school is here, all my friends are here, and I'm better off here. I insisted that I wanted to go with her. Finally, she just blurted out that she wanted me to stay with Grandma because of Robert. He only wants to take my brother with him, since he's little and a good relationship can still be built with him, while I'm already too old and will never become his real daughter. And as it turned out, he didn't like that I had told Mom that 5 months was too short a time to get engaged to someone you don't really know. He thought I was still mentally stuck in the time of Mom and Dad's marriage and wouldn't be able to get used to him, and Mom agreed with him. So she wanted me to stay behind and figure out my life on my own. I was very hurt by her words. A mom is supposed to be on my side and not abandon me just because Robert wants it. It's not that I didn't want to live with Grandma. She's a wonderful woman, and I love her very much. But I love my mom too, so it was hard for me. I tried to argue with her, but I realized it was useless. Then I told her I didn't want to wait until they moved. I wanted to move in with my grandmother that very day. Of course, it couldn't be arranged immediately, but a few days later, I had packed my things and was ready to leave. Mom tried to convince me that she still loved me, but in reality, she was only thinking about herself. The last couple of days I spent at home, I didn't talk to Mom at all and didn't even say goodbye to her on the day I left. Honestly, I didn't see the point. The only person I said goodbye to was my little brother because I knew I would miss him terribly. Since then, I've been living with my grandmother, and she has shown tremendous sympathy. By the way, she's my mom's mom. I have absolutely no relationship with my other grandparents, which isn't surprising since they barely had a relationship. With my father. My grandmother is incredibly kind and caring, and living with her has been quite easy. I feel her genuine love, and she thinks Mom acted horribly. Apart from the commute to and from school, everything in the new place is just great. I keep in touch with my brother, and every evening I call my mom just to talk to him. I don't speak with her myself. So, 3 days ago, I was celebrating my birthday at home. Honestly, I didn't organize the party. Grandma did. She invited a couple of my close friends from school, whom she found through my Facebook, and some relatives. It was a huge surprise for me, and the party lifted my spirits a bit because I had been feeling very down after Mom sent me to live with Grandma. But after we cut the cake, Grandma announced the gift she had prepared for me. It was a real shock. She said that for now, her lawyer would act as a trustee for the property, but as soon as I turn 18, the apartment would become entirely mine. It was the best news I'd had in a long time, and it never even crossed my mind to share this with my mom. But yesterday, I found out that someone had told Mom about Grandma's gift. Probably one of the party guests. I don't know who, and it doesn't matter anymore. I was furious when she called in the evening and said she had heard about the gift Grandma gave me. And after talking with Robert, they had decided that he wants to adopt me if I can convince Grandma to transfer the ownership to him. I don't know why, but she actually expected me to be happy about this news, claiming that I would finally be able to go with them. But I was not happy at all and told her I would never do that and that she no longer needed to call me. After that, I ended the call. She called back a few minutes later, but I didn't answer. Then she texted me, and this is what it said: "I'm very sorry if you were upset that I tried to live by Robert's rules and adjust to him. But you have to understand that after the divorce from your father, he was the only one who was really there for me. Of course, I had family support, but it's different. He was there emotionally and even financially. You don't know a lot of things, because I didn't want you to have a bad opinion of your father, but he is not the most generous man. The divorce settlement and the alimony I receive are absolutely negligible, and the child support is ridiculously small. I hope you haven't forgotten that your father was the main breadwinner in our family, not me. I was lucky he left me the house, otherwise, I wouldn't even be able to pay rent. Our lifestyle was always very expensive. You know that with him, I never had to worry about money. But after he left, everything changed. And I couldn't let you feel that. Even by taking extra shifts, I couldn't earn as much as he did. When I started dating Robert, he was the one who was there, who took responsibility. I know he isn't very kind to you, but that's only because he had past relationships where children from a previous marriage became a stumbling block, and everything fell apart in the end. We have to consider his trauma too. And besides, I knew that my mom would take excellent care of you, so I was sure I was leaving you in good hands. I didn't abandon you. You're living with Grandma, and you know she would never let you feel lonely. I just wanted you to be able to think about my happiness too. And now that I've arranged things so you can come with us, I want you to agree and do what Robert expects of you so that you and I can be together. Your brother misses you very much too. I know you're angry, but I also know that you love me. And I love you. So please reply soon. I love you. This message did make me think for a minute, but the last part of it just infuriated me. Just because Mom wanted to do everything Robert said, she expected the same from me. It was ridiculous, self-righteous, and weak, and I thought Mom had completely lost her individuality. So, although the message softened me a tiny bit at first, in the end, it only left a bitter taste. After half an hour, I replied to her that I wasn't going to do anything Robert wanted and that she could go with him and leave me with Grandma, as she had originally planned. I had nothing more to say to her because, honestly, her behavior had disappointed me greatly, and when I talked to Grandma about it, she said that under no circumstances would she transfer the ownership to Robert because she barely knows him and certainly doesn't trust him. She was sure he would just sell the apartment, and I wouldn't even get any money from it. So in a way, it's good that I didn't agree to Mom's proposal. However, Mom wasn't going to take no for an answer. This morning, she showed up at Grandma's house with my brother. Fortunately, I was at school when she arrived. As soon as I got home, Grandma said that Mom had come to talk to me in person about the proposal she made last night, which I had supposedly ignored. I immediately clarified that I hadn't ignored anything. I did reply to her message and made it very clear that it wasn't going to happen. I wanted her to stick to her original plan because I wasn't going to convince Grandma to transfer the property to Robert. We don't trust him, and I explained that clearly. So I don't understand why she's still pretending not to get it. I was very blunt and answered her in a harsh tone, but can you blame me? Anyway, Mom started crying and said she was only trying to make everyone happy, but no matter how hard she tries, nothing works out. I was enraged that she was sitting there in the living room crying when, in fact, I should have been the one crying because I'm the one who was abandoned by both parents. I told her to stop it and stated that she had it all backwards. She wasn't trying to make everyone happy, she just wanted to make herself happy and expected everyone around her to bend over backwards for it. And maybe everyone else was willing to put up with it, but not me. I have my own life, and I wasn't going to ruin it by running after her and trying to make sure she was okay. It stunned her, and she left shortly after. Later, I realized she had blocked me. Now I feel guilty about what I said to her. So I want to ask, was I wrong to tell my mom that she's selfish and only thinks about her own happiness? Ignored